Hello and welcome to Parts. My name is Gosha and I'm one of the creators of Parts. Um, so, Parts is a service that helps IFS practitioners to draw and maintain maps of their clients' parts. So, it's a tool to help with parts mapping. When you first create your account and you arrive to the maps list, which is a list of all the maps you have created so far, when you have just created your account, you will have an example map, which is here for us. You can see the map's name and a preview of what it looks like. So by clicking through, we will open the main screen of the application, and we will see that we have a map with 3 different kind of parts on the map already. We have an overachiever, which is a manager, an escapist, which is a firefighter, and a disappointed kid, which is an exile. We can click any of these parts to open their properties in the sidebar here. And we can see that we are able to add some notes, change the label of the part, change the type of the part if we want. We can also change the label by double clicking on a part. For example, adding a question mark. We can also use the mouse to drag parts around to rearrange them in a way that makes more sense to us. And other than that, we can see that parts are connected by lines. These lines represent the relationships that these parts have between each other. And relationships can be of different types. For example, if we click on this relationship, we can see that this is an unknown relationship. We don't know what it represents yet. It may later evolve into a protective relationship, polarizing relationship, and so on. For now, we don't know. And we can see that the overachiever and disappointed kids, the overachiever protects the disappointed kid. So there is a protective relationship happening. And we can also change the intensity of this relationship by dragging this slider here. And we can see that the line becomes a squiggly and more jagged line as the intensity increases. Right. At the bottom of the screen, we have some tools that allow us to, first of all, using the hand tool, we can move around the canvas. Using the select tool, we can select things, or by dragging, we can select multiple parts at the same time. Like, for example, if I want to drag away just the escapist and overachiever, I can do this. And let's say that we discovered a new part. We have the buttons here that I use to create this part on the canvas. So, for example, let's create an unknown part. We don't know what this part is. We just discovered it in this session. Another neat thing we can do is we can make parts bigger and smaller on the canvas. So maybe this is a very big part that we just discovered in the session, and we don't know what it is yet. So let's call it something scary. Yeah. Now that we've created this part, we can think about what kind of relationships they have. Maybe this is something that's connected to the disappointed kid. So we have 2 ways of creating a relationship. When we hover our mouse over the one part, we can see that the cursor changes to this cross. Same for this part. So at that time, we can click and drag, and this creates a relationship, and we release it at the disappointed kid, and a relationship is created. The relationship that is created is of the type selected here. So now we have selected unknown, so an unknown relationship is created. We can, of course, update this relationship here. So let's say it is activates, and quite intense one. And we can see if we zoom in that there is a label here that tells us what the relationship is. But let's delete that for now. Another way to create a relationship is by choosing the relationship type we want. So let's do activate again. And by using the connect tool, which has been activated when we selected the relationship type. When the connect tool is active, we can just drag from anywhere on a part to any other part to create this relationship. And same, we can click on the relationship and increase the intensity. Then Of course, relationships can go both ways, and maybe if the disappointed kid is fearful of this something scary, so we create a fearful of relationship and drag it that way around, and we can see that both relationships exist now. Right. Another thing that we can do is we can select a part and add a bodily location to it. So, for example, maybe this part is located in the lower back. This is useful to know as a note. Yeah. So then, let's assume that this is as far as we got in the first session we had this client. Next, we can start a new session by going to here. Let's assume we come back to this like the next week or the next session. Create a new session. Now we're in session 2. And let's say that in session 2, we discovered yet another part, which is another unknown part that we will put here. We can see that this part now has a little marker that says S2. This means that it appears in the session number 2. You can see at the top of the screen here that we're in session number 2. All the other parts and all the other relationships have a marker that says S1, which means that they have appeared in session number 1. So let's say we move things around a little bit to make more space for this new part. We don't know what this is yet, but we know that it is connected with the overachiever. This is going to be an unknown relationship for now. Maybe the client came in and they're like, overachiever is connected with some new thing here. One thing I forgot to mention is that each session, including the very first one, has a trigger where we can add what exactly happened that the client wants to discuss in the session, or what exactly happened that part of the session about. A trigger is just a plain text field that let us take some notes. So, for example, yes, the client had a conflict with his co-worker, and we can say which part was activated by this trigger. So in that case, the overachiever was. So we select the overachiever as the activated part for this session, and we can see that the little badge appears here. So, okay, this is what happens in session number 2. One cool thing that appears once we have more than one session is that the time travel mode becomes available. Once we click on this, time travel mode is active. We can no longer edit the map, even though we can still select things and view information about different parts. But we can use these buttons to travel back and forth between sessions. So now we are in session number 2. We can click here to travel to session number 1 and see the state of the client's map last week or whenever the previous session was. This is pretty useful when we want to see how things evolve over time. Yep. To go back to editing mode, we just click the time travel button again, and we are back. What else can I say? We can, of course, rename the map. This one is called example map, but by double-clicking here, we can change it to the name of a client, for example. So Alice P. Hacker. And of course, now that we've added many parts and changed the name of the map, once we go back to the list, the preview will be updated to reflect the current state, and the name of the map will be updated. Once we have a few maps, we can use the filter here to search through them. So if I type my own name, there is no map that matches my own name, but if I type Alyssa, there is this map that matches it. Yeah, that's it for now. There's many, many features planned, but we would really appreciate your feedback. And the best way to reach us is by going to the footer of the app and by clicking this email here, help@ifs.tools. This is our direct email that will reach us at any time of the day. Please send us all of your questions, all of your observations, all of your feature requests, and we would love to discuss all of that with you and make Parts the best possible tool for you to use. Thank you for watching and enjoy using Parts.